You might be wondering why, as time goes on, ads are getting more expensive, especially recently. You may have noticed a sharp increase in ad spend. Now, if you ask me, this normally happens because of an election year, which was last year. There's a whole lot of money that gets dumped into the various platforms and your cost goes up. Well, there's something else going on. There's not much you can do about it as far as controlling the cost of ads, but stick with me through this video. I'll kind of cover some other aspects that you can do to improve and at least increase your chances of not getting swamped out. So I want to show you a couple of things I found, and this information is fairly available. It's actually made available by the advertiser sources, and we're going to be looking at two. We're going to look at Meta, and we're also going to look at YouTube, since those are two really large channels. I know people still advertise on Google search. I just didn't include it in this because that's sort of a channel that there's really not much you can do about it, and you can pay per click. There are other channels on Google, like the Display Network, where you're paying per view. And even though you can sort of get away with pay per click on YouTube, it's a little bit more difficult, as opposed to Facebook, where you are paying per view. So if there's more people spending money in that space in a short period of time, it can cost your CPMs to go up, especially if you're targeting the same people. Now, if you're a business owner, you're targeting the same people because you're going to be targeting people who have money, outside of some YouTube creators who only go after content for kids or really young people who don't have any money, and they're generating money through ad revenue, so they're not really advertising anyway. Chances are you have a product or a service that you are trying to provide, and therefore you need to go after people who have money. And you may have noticed that not only have your ads costs gone up, but they've stayed up, or maybe they continue to raise. And on top of that, you may have noticed a decrease in response. Almost as if less people are seeing your ads or less people are responding to your ads. Well, there is some truth to your hook being an issue. And it could also be that since Mark Zuckerberg came out and said, hey, I'm gonna go back on all of this heavy restriction, that you have a whole lot of people who are now coming back onto the platform who normally would not have, or who would have spent some time away. And in this case, they didn't. So let me get into this and sort of show you what it is I found and I'm looking at, and what it actually means for you, at least in the time frame. So let me go over to the computer here. Now, the first one that I brought up is Meta. And this, you can find this in the ads library, facebook.com/ads/library. And they actually have an ad library report, which is on over here. We're not going to worry too much about the top of the screen. This is kind of like a brag, I guess, where they're saying, hey, all ads on our platform since 2018, we've generated $5 billion. Okay, fantastic. But that doesn't really help us too much. It's just they're letting you know how awesome they are. Great. You can also go here and you can look at, like, these are the top searches for the week in the ad library. So keyword phrases people search for most frequently in the ad library. So this is people going into the ad library and typing in this to see what kind of ads we're running. It's interesting, but I don't really care. Yeah, I see free shipping. That makes me think there's a lot of e-commerce people trying to make some progress, especially where I see add your name. So add your name and free shipping. Those tend to be print-on-demand type products. Now, spending tracker, this is what I want to see. I'm looking at what I'm going to look for is I want to see not the last day, but the last 30 days. So this will give me an idea of what's happened on this platform in the last month and how much people are spending. So it's looking January 31st, which, because February is a short month, right, to March 1st. And specifically, I want to sort it by the amount spent, right? So I just double check that I'm looking at the amount spent. Now, what I see here is kind of annoying. So we have $1.3 million spent on the Chris Murphy, who is a Democratic senator. I think he's the one saying, Trump's in with Putin and the Kremlin and everything's going to hell. So he's spending 1.3 million in the last 30 days. Then we have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez spent over $1 million in the last 30 days. Who else do we have? Josh Well, progressive Democrat, another $1 million. So just in the last 3 days, Democrats have spent a little over $3.3 million, and that's 30 days. Okay. And then we have whoever this guy is, another almost $1 million. Jon Ossoff, 700,000. Senate Democrats, just in general, 700,000. DNC, 700,000. Bernie Sanders, 600,000. Main Street Financial, 600,000. Disclosed Advisors, I don't know what that is. And then we have like PragerU, okay, 500,000. ACLU, 400. You get what I'm saying here, right? Look, almost all of these are political in nature. PragerU, you could say, isn't, right? I'd have to look up like Penzeys Spices. Hopefully that's an actual like spice company. That'd be nice to see. But healthcare, education, Ford Blue, American Conservative. Here we got a college. Facts for Peace. I'm willing to bet that's something. And then we have Texas Destination Resort. So that's now the one that probably isn't political. And then the AARP. But if I just look at, okay, how much was spent? You got like 1, 2, 3, 4. If I add the bid from the other 5, 5.7, 6, what is that? 6.3, 7 million in 30 days, just from one political side of the aisle. I don't care what side of the aisle you land up, but that's $7 million you're competing against. I barely see any other advertisers in here. And like I don't know who they're competing against. Like I don't see a bunch of like Republican names up here, which whatever, but they're not here. So they're just dumping millions of dollars into this platform continuously. Usually this ends once the election happens, but it hasn't. Right? They're just, the whole first page is everything over 500,000 is almost all political stuff. And then if you go on to the next page, let's see, End the Wokeness, okay, MAGA.com, so they're pennies. Elizabeth Warren, yeah, Bernie Sanders was on there, so Elizabeth Warren. Sports betting, so there you go. Hey, sports betting. Hakeem Jeffries, okay. Americans for Prosperity, Captain Mark Kelly for Senate, so another something. That's Democratic Action, whatever, more Democrat stuff. Modern Market, What's Up with the Hate, which is probably another political thing. Native Patriot, Progressive Turnout, Energy Citizens, World Food Program. Don't even know what they'd be advertising. Doctors Without Borders, well, they've been in the news a bit. Competitive Georgia, Work Monkey, Work Money, Work Monkey, Work Money. Judicial Watch, sure, Hillsdale College again, right? So far, the people spending, God knows how much this will be if we add this up too. The majority of the money being spent on the Meta platform is being spent in political advertising geared towards people who can vote. And the people who can vote are people who have money, right? And this is across the board. Like I checked Texas, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is advertising in Texas. Why is she advertising in Texas? Isn't she in New York? Like there's no reason for her to be spending money there, which means not only are they spending a crap ton of money, the people who are running these campaigns are being morons. Like they have no idea what they're doing. And you, as a savvy business owner, are competing against morons with giant pockets. I'm not talking about the people running the people's names here. I'm not talking about them, regardless of how you feel about them. I'm talking about the people running their campaigns, okay? Running specifically their Facebook campaigns. They're morons. And if you're watching this, I'm sorry, you are. There's no reason you should be targeting the entirety of the United States if you're trying to get somebody reelected in a particular Senate or congressional seat and you're advertising in states that can't do anything about it. Right? Besides yell at their neighbor, I guess. There's no reason to have these sort of super broad overreaching campaigns. It's massively expensive. And for you, the small business owner, it drastically raises your cost up. All right. And that's just Facebook. Thankfully, if we look at the other side, which would be Google, now they don't have an easy way for me to see the non-political advertising. Like if I just keep going through there, eventually I'll find the people who aren't political advertisers. Like a few of them had popped up, so they do show up, but it's all mixed together. But you can look for them separately. This Google actually splits them out. Google's like, hey, these are the political advertisers, these are the non-political advertisers. The problem is their non-political advertisers doesn't look all nice and neat like this. They want you to find particular people. So Ray and this, so I'm looking at video and YouTube specifically, doing the same thing the last 30 days. As you can see, I can put nothing here and it'll actually give me like these kind of results. I can say most recent, or I can say spent, high to low. Sometimes the insights button works. If I click insights, it might pull up, it might not. You might have to try it on your own. I'm honestly not sure. Here we go. Okay. So it gives me an overview. So in the last 30 days, about a little less than 5 million was spent with 3,813. Now, unlike the other one, this is only political ads. The nice thing is it gives me a total. So it's like, hey, this much was spent. And then we get to see our top advertisers. So Affordable New Jersey. Okay. Iris Social Stock, House Majority Ford, Save My Country, MC Advertising, American Prosperity. I'd have to go in and look, but some of these might veer more towards the right than just left. But as you can see, the numbers are significantly less on the YouTube platform than they are on Facebook. And there's still a crap ton of money being spent here. And like I said, it's harder to see the other advertisers, but I'd be willing to bet that the political advertisers are spending way more than your average Joe. So what does this mean for you and your business, right? Like all this is nice and great, like, oh, hooray, they're dumping millions of dollars on a platform in only 30 days, and you're just trying to get your business to work. There's a couple of things you can glean from this. The first one, if I were to pick a platform, I'd pick YouTube. And mostly because most of the money that's being spent, especially from the political side, is being spent on the Meta platform. That doesn't mean I would write off Meta, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. But I would say if I'm on a limited budget, I'd probably look more towards YouTube, mostly because that platform is probably going to be a little bit more forgiving. And my money's probably going to go a little bit further. Now, that's just if you look at it as a general. As you can see, the #1 advertiser on YouTube was only 500,000, which is still a lot. But compare it to what we saw on Facebook, which was like 1.4 million, right? And then the next ones were like 1 million, 1 million, 1 million. Like it was just a stack after stack. Whereas on YouTube, it was like 500,000, 400,000, 300,000. So it dropped significantly faster. So with less money on the advertising platform, it usually means that there's more availability for you to advertise on. Now, YouTube has its own issues. For example, Facebook doesn't have like a Facebook Premium where you don't see ads. Whereas YouTube does have that, where people could sign up and not see ads. And there are ways around that where you're not advertising directly on the platform. You could be advertising directly with the creator or the influencer. You can also be setting up your campaigns to advertise there anyway, because not everybody signs up for it. So it's worth going after. So as far as what you can do for your business, I would say, start looking at what you can do on YouTube, what kind of videos you can put out. If you're not sure what kind of videos to create, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you. I did a training on how to create, videos that grab attention and keep people around till the end and get them to take action. This obviously is not that. This is more of an overview video, but I did training on that. I'll be more than happy to share with you. Just let me know. So, when it comes to things like Facebook, I would make smaller spend and be more strategic. And there's a few strategies to go about doing that, but I would move away from conversion-based advertising on Meta for the time being if you're a smaller advertiser. If you're larger, go for it. Just realize it's going to be very expensive. I would rather you get in front of as many people as you can, almost as a two-prong attack, kind of to be a little sneaky. You want to put all of your pixels and cookies everywhere that you can, even though they're all going away, which is another story. But if you can get in front of your audience on Facebook for an expensive amount using engagement or awareness type ads, where you can get them to your site, you can then also retarget them with your Google YouTube ads. And whenever you set up a retargeting ad, it's way less expensive than going to cold traffic. So you can use whichever platform you can to get the cheapest traffic to your site that, at least by positioning the ad correctly, is interested in what you have to sell. And then your retargeting ads can be more direct, and you can massively save on the amount of money you're spending. If you're not sure how to do any of that, like I said, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to help. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.